We're supposed to just adapt and overcome the hostilities in the situation that we're in without ever voicing our discontent towards these expectations. But I've been saying on the podcast for a very long period of time, I've been saying on the podcast that it's important for us as men to make sure that we stand on our non-negotiable expectations for behavior. And if we stand on these non-negotiable expectations for behavior out the gate from the beginning of the first date through the first several steps of social interaction with one another and become unwavering on those standards and those expectations, a person cannot compromise your expectations. Now, I understand that there are a lot of scenarios and a lot of situations where I'm being asked that, can't you compromise? Can't you flex? Can't you, be more cooperative? No, non-negotiable means non-negotiable. It's not up for debate. These are the expectations that I have. You are going to meet these expectations or you're not. I'm not going to negotiate you having less responsibility or less obligation to adhere to your responsibilities. You will do what you were supposed to do or you won't. There is no middle ground. Because when you try that, when you try being flexible, when you try negotiating, what happens is that you end up as the person being forced to compromise, giving up your expectations and giving up your wants, needs, and desires. And then by forfeiting that, there's no reciprocation from the other side where that person then caters to your wants, needs, or desires out of respect for you making that sacrifice. In those scenarios, we're looking at the fact that you will be forced to or compelled to throw away your own personal expectations, which is why I say that standing on your non-negotiable expectations for behavior out the gate, especially on social media dating, is highly important. How does this work with dating? Well, first of all, we got to set a standard. I've said this before. One of the standards that we want to set when we're talking to people on the dating app is that we're not exchanging things the way we exchange things in person, because you got to understand that the dating app is going to ruin everybody's ability to socially interact with one another, because you're going to develop antitrust issues on the dating app. And the antitrust issues that you're going to develop on the dating app is going to be solely due to the people that are there with the expectation to scam folks. That's going to make things a little bit harder for you to be successful, because when you're calling yourself trying to find somebody for a specific reason, you're looking for a lifelong partner. Somebody might be looking for a jump off. Somebody else might be looking for your personal information for a social security scam. There's a bounce back in every interaction where you're not too sure if they're genuine and noble, or if these individuals are just out to get as much as they can out of your situation and then walk away. Men, it's a lot more dangerous for us than people are willing to admit, because at least the women are more likely to be scammed on the internet. The men are likely to be scammed on both the internet and in person. We do have people who will lie and make it seem like they have financial obligations, like needing a babysitter or something to that effect. And those scams could cause men to pay extra money, calling themselves trying to be the honorable and noble person, the generous and catering person. And that generous and catering person is then thrown under the bus, because the person who said that they needed that money for the babysitter didn't really need that money for the babysitter. They just wanted to see if you would put that money up. And if you did, then good. Now, you do have some that reciprocates with that and actually shows up to the engagement, but you also have just that many more that, instead of them showing up to the engagement, after you have compensated in some way, shape, or form for the babysitter, those individuals are now making excuses about other things until you reach a point where the date gets canceled. Now, you spent the money for the babysitter, but you didn't get the date. And it's no refund on the babysitter because you offered it. And because you offered it, now you're in a tight spot. And that turns into a scam. We have a lot of people that have boasted and bragged about how they make these claims against men, and then the men compensate for that, and then they make out of the date without the need of a babysitter and getting babysitter style money.